Her mother said the wrong thing. She hit her right away. Why does someone become so bitter? She pushed her husband away. She pushed her mother away. Even her son would not come close to her. Even strangers could ruin most of her life. The answer in this story is simple. If you live with low self-worth and keep doubting yourself, this story might change your life. Every morning she woke up. She stared at the empty wall across from the sofa. Years of pressure made Lana decide to end her life on her birthday. Just as she was about to act, the doorbell rang. 2 police officers came asking for her help with an inspection. As a retired civil servant she had to cooperate. Her plan was put on hold for now. A neighbor's son was involved in an illegal goods case. Police needed to search the house. Lana was asked to be a witness. One officer saw a piano in the house. He sat down and played a short piece. The music paused the tense mood for a moment. The officer in charge even wished her a happy birthday. The neighbor who secretly liked her also learned it was her birthday. Back in her room she called her son. Her son was preparing for a concert. The call went straight to voicemail every time. There was no response. After thinking for a long time she put away her farewell letter. She decided to do one thing first. She went to the bank and withdrew all her savings. She carefully kept the money with her. Then she went to the subway station. The neighbor suddenly appeared and gave her flowers. She showed no clear emotion. But it was the second birthday wish she received that day. The neighbor tried to find a reason to stay close. She refused and he left. She took the flowers and got on the subway. She wandered like she had lost direction. Then she went to her son's concert hall. There was a poster of her son at the entrance. The son she was proud of but also distant from. She asked about tickets at the box office. There were still a few seats left. She bought all the remaining seats. Then she stood outside and stared at the poster in silence for a long time. Then she started giving out the tickets. She went back to her old workplace first. The receptionist was very surprised to receive the tickets. Then she visited former colleagues. Their reactions were complicated and cold. She began to realize respect was not real. Most of it was just surface politeness. She tried to contact her son again. Still no reply. The voicemail kept repeating. Her emotions kept sinking. She went to a shopping mall to choose clothes for the concert. The clerk recommended many dresses. She nodded mechanically and tried them on. In the end she chose a simple dress. She calculated every expense while paying. After leaving the mall she packed away her old clothes. Then she went to see her former piano teacher. The person she once respected most. She stood outside the familiar music room for a long time. Then finally pushed the door open. The teacher was not there. Only a boy focused on games was practicing piano. She told the boy to put down his phone and practice. The boy sat at the piano. He kept making mistakes while playing. Finally he stopped looking frustrated. She began pointing out his problems strictly. Her tone became sharper and sharper. The boy lowered his head and said nothing. She saw a familiar shadow in him. Like young Victor. She did not stay. She turned and left the room. Outside the building she noticed someone following her. A young girl. The girl kept her distance and watched her. She followed her into a restaurant and sat nearby. The girl mentioned Victor. She said she had a connection with him. Lana chose to hide part of the truth. She only said she knew him casually. The girl asked about Victor's situation. She said she had not heard from him for a long time. Lana gave no clear answer. She kept avoiding the topic. Then she took out a ticket and handed it to the girl. The girl refused it. She stood up and left. Before leaving she said something harsh. Lana was triggered. She walked to the girl's bag. Took out a bow inside and broke it. Fast and without hesitation. The girl was shocked but did not react immediately. Lana left the restaurant. She went to the backstage area of the concert hall. She wanted to check on her son. She met her ex-husband in the hallway. He was helping Victor prepare for the performance. He clearly did not want her there. He believed she would affect their son. They had a brief confrontation. But it did not escalate. Lana was blocked from the main backstage area. Her ex went inside to talk to Victor. Victor looked uncertain and anxious. He began questioning whether to play his original piece. Outside Lana kept pacing, trying to get closer again, but staff stopped her. She could only watch from a distance. She later went to meet a professor. She waited outside a cafe for a long time. When the professor arrived she handed him a ticket, hoping he would attend the concert. The professor did not clearly recognize her. His attitude was cold. He gave a short reply and prepared to leave. Lana insisted he take the ticket. He finally accepted but made no promise. After he left she felt conflicted. She realized she had been ignored for a long time. But she still could not change her habits. Time before the concert kept shrinking. She returned near the concert hall. The crowd was gathering. She began handing out the remaining tickets. Even to strangers. Her movements became mechanical. Victor was preparing backstage. He kept adjusting his state. His father tried to calm him. But he was still uncertain. Showtime was approaching. Audience members entered. Lana stood at the entrance giving out the last tickets. Then she went inside to find a seat. The professor also entered and sat down. They sat side by side without speaking. The lights were about to come on. Lana looked toward the stage. The atmosphere became tense. The concert was about to begin. The audience was fully seated. Silence filled the hall. Lana sat watching the stage. The performance began. Victor walked on stage. He first played a familiar piece. The music was steady and smooth. The audience slowly settled in. Applause followed after it ended. A short break followed. Backstage tension grew heavier. Victor again hesitated about his original work. His father kept encouraging him. But he still wavered. His mother's words kept echoing in his mind. Lana sat in the audience. Her expression controlled. She waited for the second half. Before the second half started, Victor stood backstage for a long time. He was extremely nervous. Finally he walked onto the stage. He sat at the piano. The hall fell silent. He did not start right away. He paused for a long time. Then he began his original piece. The music started heavy and dark, slow and deeply pressured. Then the rhythm slowly changed. It began to speed up. Emotion shifted from pressure to release. The power grew stronger. The music became intense. Like breaking free from something. Lana listened closely. Her expression slowly changed. She understood what the music meant. It was directly connected to her. She slowly stood up, and left her seat. Victor saw her leaving on stage. His determination became stronger. He continued playing without stopping. Lana walked out of the concert hall. She went to a shop across the street, bought a pack of cigarettes, stood at the door for a long time. Then she returned outside the hall, and did not go back in. She just waited for it to end. Finally the music ended. There was silence at first. Then applause and cheers exploded. The audience reacted strongly. The performance was a success. Victor stood and thanked everyone, and mentioned his mother, expressing gratitude to her. Lana stood at the edge of the crowd. She did not approach the stage. Just listened quietly. After the show people slowly left. Someone wished her a happy birthday. Only then did she realize the day was still going. The professor joined the crowd, talking with others. He evaluated the performance positively. Victor came out from backstage. He saw his mother in the crowd, but he did not approach her. He paused then looked away. Lana tried to get closer, but the crowd kept separating them. Later she went to a bar area. She sat with people she had given tickets to. They discussed the performance. The atmosphere was lively. The professor was also there. He talked about her past. People began to focus on her identity. Victor also arrived. He saw his mother, but chose to ignore her. The atmosphere became awkward. The professor described her past, her teaching style, and her strictness toward students. People began to understand her differently. Lana stood in the crowd. She did not explain. She remained silent. The professor gave a final comment. It shook her long-held belief. Her expression changed. The professor then left. Lana was left alone. The noise around her faded. She began to rethink her life. She walked out of the bar, onto the street. The night was quiet. She returned home, facing the empty wall again. The room was no longer fully dark. There was more light now. She sat down, and slowly drank what her son had given her. The room became silent. She stood up and walked to the neighbor's house. Knocked and waited. The door did not open. Just as she turned to leave, the door opened. The neighbor appeared. She walked inside. Finally she sat at the piano. She slowly opened the lid. Her fingers touched the keys. Long suppressed emotions were released. Soft music began to play.